Contact at the edge of the universe. At the farthest edge of the known universe, where light itself struggled to travel, humanity listened in silence. For centuries, humans had searched the stars for signs of life. Powerful telescopes scanned distant galaxies. Antennas stretched across planets and moons, waiting for a whisper from the darkness. Most scientists had begun to believe that the universe was empty, or that intelligent life simply did not want to be found. Earth was no longer the small, fragile world it once was. Cities floated above oceans. Colonies existed on Mars, Europa, and Titan. Massive space stations orbited distant stars. Yet despite all this progress, humanity still felt alone. The question haunted every generation: are we the only ones? At the Helios Deep Space Observatory, a station positioned beyond the orbit of Pluto, a small team worked through endless nights. The station sat at the edge of explored space, surrounded by darkness so deep it felt alive. Stars were few here, scattered like broken glass across a black sea. Dr. Alara Miles stared at the signal monitor, her eyes tired but focused. She had devoted her life to this place. While others dreamed of traveling to distant worlds, Ilara dreamed of listening. She believed the universe spoke in patterns, waiting for someone patient enough to understand. "Another false echo," said Jonah Reed, her colleague, rubbing his temples. "Cosmic noise again." Ilara did not respond immediately. She leaned closer to the screen, watching a thin line of data move across the display. Something about it felt different. The rhythm was wrong for a natural phenomenon. "Run the filter again," she said quietly. Jonah sighed but complied. The system reprocessed the data, removing background radiation and known cosmic interference. When the new graph appeared, the room fell silent. The signal remained. It was steady, structured, intentional. "This can't be right," Jonah whispered. Ilara's heart began to race. "Check the origin." The coordinates appeared on the screen. The signal was coming from a region beyond the mapped universe, past where stars were supposed to exist. It came from the edge itself, where space-time bent and theories broke down. "No stars. No galaxies," Jonah said. "There's nothing there." "Nothing we know of," Ilara replied. "They recorded the signal and sent it to Earth." Within hours, scientists across the solar system were analyzing the data. Some dismissed it as an error. Others suggested an unknown cosmic event. But a few, like Ilara, felt something deeper. The signal repeated every 12 minutes. Each burst carried complex patterns, layered and precise. It was not random. It was a message. 3 days later, the Council of Planetary Leaders and top scientists gathered in a virtual chamber above Earth. Faces from different worlds appeared as glowing projections. The room buzzed with tension. "This could be the greatest discovery in human history," said Director Hale, head of the Interstellar Science Authority. "Or it could be the greatest mistake." Ilara stood before them, her voice calm but firm. "The signal shows intelligence. Mathematical sequences. Universal constants. It's designed to be understood." "And if it's a trap?" asked a council member from Mars. "Then ignoring it won't save us," Ilara replied. "If someone can send a signal from the edge of the universe, they already know we exist." Silence followed her words. Finally, the decision was made. Humanity would respond. Using the most powerful transmitter ever built, a reply was sent toward the edge of the universe. It contained basic mathematics, human DNA patterns, and a simple greeting translated into universal logic. Then they waited. Weeks passed. Then months. Many began to believe the moment had passed. Life returned to routine. But Ilara stayed at Helios, watching, listening, hoping. One cycle later, the signal returned. This time, it was different. It carried images. The first image was of a structure unlike anything humans had built. It was vast, stretching across space like a bridge made of light and shadow. The second image showed stars bending inward, flowing toward a single point. The third image showed something that made Ilara gasp. A map. Not of space, but of pathways. Lines connected distant points, folding reality itself. At the center of the map was a symbol pulsing with energy. And next to it, a clear message translated by the system. "Come." Fear spread across human space. Religious groups called it a test. Military leaders called it a threat. Scientists called it impossible. But explorers felt something else. Curiosity. The council debated for weeks. In the end, a mission was approved. A single ship would travel toward the source of the signal. It would not carry weapons. It would carry observers. Elara was chosen to lead the mission. The ship, Aurora's Reach, was the most advanced vessel ever created. It could bend space, travel faster than light, and survive the unknown. As it launched from Helios, Elara looked back at the distant sun. She wondered if she would ever return. As the ship moved farther from known space, stars faded behind them. Darkness grew thicker. Instruments behaved strangely. Time itself seemed to slow and stretch. Then, without warning, the ship emerged into a region that should not exist. Light filled the void. Massive structures floated like monuments left behind by gods. Energy flowed like rivers through space. At the center stood the structure from the signal. The bridge at the edge of the universe. A voice echoed through the ship, not heard with ears but felt in the mind. You have come far. Elara closed her eyes, steadying her breath. Who are you? She asked. The response was immediate. We are the ones who waited at the end. The voice did not fade. It stayed, calm and steady, filling the minds of everyone aboard Aurora's Reach. It carried no anger, no warmth, only a deep sense of age. Elara felt as if the universe itself was speaking through a single thought. Why did you call us? She asked, her voice quiet but strong. For a moment, nothing happened. The vast structure outside the ship glowed softly, its surface shifting like liquid light. Then the voice returned. We called because you are ready to listen. The crew exchanged nervous glances. Commander Ian Solis tightened his grip on the control panel. Ready for what? He asked. The space around the ship changed. The stars stretched and folded, forming shapes that moved with meaning. Images flowed into their minds, not forced, but gently offered. They saw the birth of the universe. A flash of unimaginable energy, followed by expansion. Galaxies formed, stars ignited, worlds took shape. Time passed in moments. Civilizations rose and fell like waves on an endless shore. We are the keepers of the edge, the voice said. When a universe is born, it must one day end. We stand at that end. Elara felt a chill. You're not from our universe, she said. No. We exist between endings. The beings did not show themselves as bodies. Instead, they appeared as patterns of light and gravity, shifting forms that could not be fully seen. They were not machines, not flesh, but something older and stranger. Jonah's voice trembled. If you watch universes end, why contact us now? The images changed again. This time, they showed Earth. Human cities. Space stations. Children looking up at the stars. Then the images darkened. Stars burned out. Space thinned. The universe grew cold. Your universe is aging faster than expected, the voice said. Its balance is failing. The words struck like a silent explosion. Elara struggled to breathe. Failing how? Intelligence creates change. Change accelerates entropy. You have awakened forces you do not yet understand. Commander Solis stepped forward. Are you saying we're destroying the universe? Not destroying. Speeding its end. Silence filled the ship. For centuries, Elara said slowly, we believed intelligence was rare. That life was a miracle. It is a trial, the voice replied. Only a few civilizations reach this point. Fewer still are called. The structure outside pulsed brighter, responding to the conversation. You want something from us, Elara said. What is it? The answer came with clarity. A choice. The beings showed two paths. One where humanity continued to expand, harnessing dark energy, tearing shortcuts through space-time. In this future, humanity thrived for a time but burned the universe faster, leaving nothing behind. The second path showed restraint. A slowing of growth. A different kind of understanding. In this future, humanity helped stabilize reality itself, becoming guardians rather than conquerors. You can become like us, the voice said. Or you can vanish with everything else. Jonah shook his head. That's not a choice. That's an ultimatum. All ends are ultimatums. Elara felt anger rise within her. You watched countless civilizations fall. You never helped them. We did. Some refused. Some failed. Some succeeded. What happened to those who succeeded? She asked. The answer was quiet. They are gone as you know them. Transformed. The crew realized the truth. Becoming guardians meant losing something essential. Identity. Freedom. Perhaps even humanity itself. Commander Solis leaned toward Elara. We can't decide this alone, he whispered. This affects everyone.
Elara nodded.
We need time. For the first time, the beings hesitated.
Time is limited, but you may return.
The structure opened, revealing a corridor of light. Space bent gently around the ship, guiding it back toward known space. Before the connection faded, Elara asked one last question. Why us? Why humanity? The answer echoed long after the ship began its journey home.
Because you still ask why.
As Aurora's reach traveled back through distorted space, the crew sat in silence. The universe felt smaller now.
Fragile. Temporary.
When they reached Helios station, the message was transmitted to Earth.
Panic spread.
Debates ignited across worlds.
Some leaders demanded expansion continue at all costs. Others called for immediate change. Humanity stood divided.
Elara looked out at the stars, knowing they would never look the same again. Somewhere at the edge of everything, the ones who waited were watching. And the universe was running out of time. The message from the edge of the universe did not unite humanity.
It split it.
Within days of Elara's return, every world, station, and colony was consumed by argument.
Governments called emergency sessions. Scientists worked without sleep.
Religious leaders spoke of destiny and judgment. Ordinary people watched the stars with fear they had never known before. On Earth, the Global Council convened in a chamber beneath the old mountains. Massive screens displayed equations, star maps, and probability models. None of them offered comfort. This is manipulation, said General Cale Morrow, head of planetary defense. Unknown entities threaten us with extinction unless we limit our growth. That's not guidance. That's control. They showed us the math, replied Professor Lynn Voss. The entropy curves align with our own projections. We just never believed them. And now we're supposed to trust beings who live beyond reality.
Morrow snapped.
What if slowing down weakens us? What if others are out there who won't?
Elara stood quietly, listening. She had spoken enough already. She knew fear when she heard it.
Across Mars, Titan, and the outer colonies, similar debates raged.
Two clear groups emerged. The first called themselves the Stewards.
They believed humanity must change course, reduce its use of universe-altering technologies, and learn how to stabilize reality. To them, survival meant responsibility. The second group took another name. The Continuum Initiative. They believed the beings at the edge were lying, or worse, afraid. The Continuum argued that growth was humanity's strength. That stopping now would erase everything humans had achieved. We didn't cross the stars to become caretakers, their leader, Dr. Aaron Vale, declared in a broadcast seen across human space.
We crossed them to transcend limits.
The universe does not need guardians. It needs successors. The words ignited millions. Quietly, behind closed doors, the Continuum prepared something dangerous. They had access to experimental technology, engines that could pierce spacetime itself. If the edge was a barrier, they intended to break it. Elara sensed something was wrong long before anyone told her.
Data from Helios began to shift.
Subtle changes in background radiation. Gravitational drift where none should exist. The edge is reacting, Jonah said, staring at the monitors. Like it's watching us more closely.
A new signal arrived. Short. Clear. You are dividing.
Elara felt a wave of shame.
We don't all agree, she replied.
But we're trying.
Division accelerates collapse.
At the same time, deep in a hidden facility near Jupiter's orbit, the Continuum Initiative activated their project.
They called it the Breaker.
A massive ring of energy formed in space, spinning faster than light. Reality bent inward, screaming silently as laws of physics were pushed beyond their limits. Stabilizers holding, reported an engineer.
Dr. Vale watched with awe. Open a path to the edge.
Let's see what's really there. As the breaker activated, the universe responded. Stars dimmed across multiple systems. Time fluctuations rippled outward. On Earth, people felt sudden headaches, nausea, and fear without knowing why.
At Helios, alarms blared.
This is it, Jonah shouted. Someone is tearing space open. Elara's mind filled with the voice again, louder this time.
Stop them. We don't control them, she cried.
We can't.
Then you will all share the end.
The breaker's energy beam reached beyond known space, punching directly toward the edge. For a brief moment, something pushed back.
Then reality cracked.
Not like glass, but like fabric tearing. A wound opened in the universe, leaking darkness that swallowed light. Entire star systems flickered and vanished, erased as if they had never existed.
The Continuum facility went silent. Dr. Vale never saw the end coming.
At the edge of the universe, the great structure shuddered. The ones who waited reacted instantly, pouring energy into the damaged boundary.
The seal is broken, they said. Your choice has been made by a few.
No,
Ilara whispered.
We can still fix this.
Only if you act as one.
Across human space, panic turned to realization.
The cost of division was visible now.
Worlds that had existed for centuries were gone. The stewards called for immediate unity. Even former Continuum supporters began to doubt. Ilara stepped forward, broadcasting to every human colony. We are not being punished, she said.
We are being tested.
If we continue to fight, the universe will end with us in it. But if we choose responsibility together, we might save more than ourselves. For the first time since the signal arrived, humanity began to listen. At the edge of everything, the wound in reality continued to grow. And time was almost gone. Unity did not come easily, but fear has a way of sharpening truth. Across human space, emergency protocols activated.
Expansion engines were shut down.
Space-time piercing experiments were frozen. Military fleets stood down, not to prepare for war, but to prevent further damage. For the first time in history, humanity chose stillness over motion. The wound in the universe did not close, but it slowed. At Helios Station, Ilara studied the damage reports. Entire regions of space had collapsed into nothingness.
No explosion. No debris. Just absence.
The universe remembers, Jonas said quietly. Even when something is erased.
A final signal arrived from the edge. Come back.
This time, as many as you are willing to become.
The meaning was clear.
This was no longer a conversation. It was a transformation. The council selected a delegation, scientists, philosophers, engineers, and observers from every human world. They would not carry weapons or symbols of power.
Only knowledge and choice.
As Aurora's reach departed again, now accompanied by smaller vessels, Ilara felt the weight of history pressing down on her. Humanity had crossed oceans, skies, and stars. Now it stood at the threshold of something far greater, and far more terrifying. When they reached the edge, the structure awaited them, brighter than before. The wound in reality hovered nearby, a dark scar pulling at the universe like an open mouth. You see the cost of ignorance, the ones who waited said.
Now you must see the cost of care.
The beings revealed the truth in full. Long ago, countless intelligent species had reached the same stage humanity had.
Most chose endless growth.
Their universes burned quickly, collapsing into silence.
A few chose guardianship.
They surrendered expansion and individuality, merging their consciousness with the fabric of reality.
They became you, Ilara realized. Yes, we are the remnants of many.
Becoming a guardian meant anchoring reality, absorbing instability, and guiding younger civilizations. It meant existing beyond time, no longer bound to planets, names, or even physical form. You're asking us to give up being human, Commander Solis said.
You would become more and less at once.
The beings showed what guardianship looked like.
Minds stretched across galaxies.
Awareness of every star's balance. Endless responsibility without rest.
And no return.
Ilara felt tears rise in her eyes. Does anyone ever choose this freely?
The answer was gentle. Only those who love their universe more than themselves. The delegation argued among themselves. Some refused immediately. Others wavered.
A few, silent and thoughtful, already knew their answer. Humanity did not need all of them to become guardians.
It needed enough. Ilara stepped forward. I will do it, she said. Jonas stared at her.
Ilara. If not us, she said softly, then who?
We asked to know if we were alone.
This is the answer. One by one, others joined her. Scientists who had spent their lives studying the stars. Explorers who had seen too much beauty to let it vanish. Ordinary humans who believed survival meant responsibility. They formed a circle of light near the structure. This is the point of no return, the ones who waited warned.
Speak your final words as you are.
Ilara closed her eyes and thought of Earth. Of skies and oceans.
Of people who would never know her name, but would live because of her choice. I choose to stay, she said.
The transformation began. Their bodies dissolved into patterns of energy and thought. Fear faded, replaced by clarity. Elara felt herself expanding, touching stars, feeling the strain of the universe itself. Pain existed, but so did purpose. The wound in reality began to close, slowly knitting itself together as the new guardians took hold. The universe stabilized, its heartbeat steady once more. Humanity watched from afar as the edge of the universe changed forever. A new voice joined the ones who waited. Not human. Not alien. Something more. Something eternal. The universe did not end. That fact alone changed everything. After the sealing of the wound, the stars across human space slowly regained their strength. Time stabilized. The quiet fear that had filled every world began to fade, replaced by something new and unfamiliar: humility. Humanity would never again believe itself alone or supreme. At Helios Station, the monitors showed calm readings for the first time in months. Jonah Reed stood before the observation window, watching distant stars shimmer. They looked the same as they always had, but he knew better now. Every light carried weight. Every spark existed because someone, somewhere, was holding reality together. Elara was no longer human in the way Jonah remembered her. Yet she was not gone. She existed as awareness spread across space, woven into the structure of the universe itself. She felt gravity breathe. She sensed stars forming and dying in balance. The universe was not silent, it was alive, and it remembered. The ones who waited welcomed the new guardians without ceremony. There was no hierarchy, no throne. Only shared responsibility. You have taken your place, they said. Now you will learn what it means to endure. Elara learned that guardianship was not about control. It was about guidance. Small adjustments. Gentle corrections. Preventing extremes. Allowing civilizations to grow without tearing reality apart. She could feel humanity still, its fear, hope, stubborn curiosity. She did not interfere directly. Guardians never ruled. They only watched, nudged, and protected the balance. On Earth, the Council officially dissolved the Continuum Initiative. Laws were rewritten. Expansion continued, but carefully. Humanity learned to explore without breaking, to discover without consuming. Children were taught a new history, not of conquest, but of responsibility. They called it the Quiet Age. Messages were sent into the stars again, but this time with patience instead of hunger. Humanity still searched for life, but no longer demanded answers. At the edge of the universe, Elara sensed something stirring. A new signal. Smaller. Younger. Another civilization had reached out, standing at the threshold humanity once crossed. They are asking the question, the ones who waited said. Are they alone? Elara felt a deep, familiar ache. She remembered standing in the observatory, staring at a screen, hoping for a sign. Let them know they are heard, she replied. A signal was sent, not a command, not a warning, but a whisper of understanding. Mathematics. Patterns. A simple truth encoded in light. You are not alone. You are not forgotten. And the universe is watching, with care. From their distant worlds, humans would never hear Elara's voice again. But sometimes, explorers felt something when traveling deep space. A sense of being guided. Protected. As if the universe itself was gently steering them away from disaster. At the very edge of everything, the Guardians held their watch. Not as gods. Not as rulers. But as memory. Because contact was never about meeting another species. It was about learning who you must become when the universe answers back.